This is Oilersnation Radio, your one-stop shop for everything Oilers. 1 hour of straight hockey talk with Bagged Milk, Tyler, Liam, Rick, and Dan starts now.
Can I make a quick statement?
Sure.
Ooh, a statement.
Does anybody else think our intro
This seems like a question, not a statement.
sounds like a car commercial? I just kind of realized that. Introducing
She has a very
Ford
versatile voice.
car.
Yeah, that's definitely a Ford commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys were just at Sherwood Ford though, so
I know. I think that's what triggered me
you were in the lobby and that song was playing.
over and over again.
I think it could also be a different type of voice, perhaps a different type of DJ, perhaps one
Khaled?
that.
Another
Well,
one.
maybe, but like one that like introduces the ladies near the end of the evening, late night for their dances.
Oh,
on stage.
Oh,
Rick is taking today's episode in a sexy direction.
Children watch our show.
Well,
Watch it.
Chilled.
I believe we brought this up before, though. Did she not?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, I'm not
Wait.
talking directly about Lisa. I'm just talking about the music.
Oh, I was definitely talking about the
Yeah.
voice.
I mean, the voice, sure, she could do. She's very talented.
Very versatile.
Yeah,
Very
she could do
versatile.
anything.
Question for you, Lynn.
It's all that coconut water.
Loves coconut water.
Mhm.
Again, this is your reminder. Hit up Lisa Evans on socials and ask her, where's the best coconut water from? Question for you, Liam. How many Sherbucks did you have?
2. I had 2.
2 lattes?
I did 2 vanilla lattes. I was going to have a third, but I've been cutting down on my caffeine intake.
We had 2 today.
Oh, yeah, you showed 4. You have to.
Yeah, the Sherbucks is legit.
Yeah, it's really
It is
good.
not 2 p.m. yet.
No, it is not.
I've had 2 coffees today.
Yeah.
Normally I'm on
And
3
then I
by
had a
now.
root beer on the way in.
Oh, root beer. There's no
But I don't
caffeine
think
in
there's
that.
caffeine in that.
No
but
caffeine in
there's
root beer.
certainly sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a buzz.
I don't drink any coffee.
No?
Which I don't know how I don't even know how you make it through.
Don't tell me you have one of those energy drinks.
No, I can't
Okay.
stand those.
Good.
What's wrong with energy drinks, Liam?
Yeah, see, like Dan doesn't
Terrible.
drink coffee, but Dan's a monster guy.
I'm made out of Monster at this point.
Gross.
they can't be that good for you, can they, Dan?
Well,
What is?
Yeah, eat right,
I
stay
used to
fit,
be
die anyway.
450 pounds.
That's true.
So
Then I started drinking.
I started drinking all this, and I had to work. I had to work off the energy somehow, so I started running.
Yep.
And running, and it's been what, 4 years, 5 years now?
He Forrest Gumped his way through the last 4 years.
Yeah.
I drink an energy drink before I ran my marathon.
Damn.
Didn't kill me.
I remember the last time I had one.
I
Mixed with a little bit of vodka,
Well, yeah.
not a full can.
Yeah, the old
The old Rick.
what was that
Nope,
place
not in there.
called on White Ave? The Funky Buddha.
Funky Buddha.
Where they used to have, what was it, like $4 Jaeger bombs?
I mean, we're talking a while ago.
What
Yeah.
a night that was.
What a
And then I
terrible
remember
morning that
someone
is.
saying, it was like, it's probably not good to have like 12 of those.
Yeah, probably not. But you know what? I was having that
That's
same.
only really like 2 cans.
I know, but when you say you had 12 Jaeger bombs, it's like,
Yeah, like
wow,
I'm-
that's a lot.
I'm going
Red
6
Bull.
Jaeger bombs for one can of Red Bull.
I was at game
Saving.
6, and there's the funny thing that the Oilers do in the playoffs is they have those people that walk around the
He does it
concourse
all
giving
season.
shots.
He does it regular season too.
Oh, I didn't know they did.
I love laughing at him when it's like a Tuesday.
I was gonna say Tuesday.
Jaeger
You're,
bombs!
you're not ready for nothing. You're sitting there. Jaeger bomb. Whoa, where the where'd that come
laugh
from?
to him. I'll be like, slow night for you. Hey, he's like, yeah.
Let's get to the podcast. It is game day for round 2. Edmonton Oilers, Vegas Golden Knights. The delicious debate for our friends at Odd Company Brewing. Of course, proud to partner with them on Nation Beer Everyday Lager. For the next big game like today, for your next go-to lager, find it at Odd Company Brewing at either of their Edmonton locations or at liquorconnect.com search engine. Put that in, find a liquor store near you that sells it. We put Dan on the spot. Dan just got back from Toronto. Flew across the country for today's episode.
Bold.
I can do it, Dan, if you don't have one.
I got one.
All right.
Dan is up. Delicious debate, Dan.
Well, we saw the announcement come out earlier today, and I think it surprised a few Oiler fans, myself included. But I'll just kind of open it up to the floor for the whole group. Seeing that Pickard is going to be our starter for game 1, is that something you would change with this team, or is there something else within the lineup for game 1 that you would like to see changed?
I'll jump in. I just like when you win 4 in a row, you earned the start. I think I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we do see Stu in this series, but to start, there's no reason in my mind would you not go with the guy that got you there.
Depending on the goals allowed, you might see one after each loss if we ever lose again this regular season or this playoff. Sorry,
No, we got 12 straight wins coming.
probably.
Yeah.
Well, the last time we were down 0-2, we did win 7 in a row, so maybe bet on the next 3 doubles. I never really believed that Skinner was going to be in the net. There was a bit of a theory that if you put him in net for game one, things don't go well. It's probably the easiest game to do so. You have, obviously a lot to bounce, but a lot of time to bounce back. But the goalies to me are relatively the same. I think the team in front of them plays a little bit differently. I think the way we were playing games 1 and 2 is way different than 3, 4, 5, 6, which made things a little bit easier for Pickard, but it is what it is. I wasn't surprised by it. I wouldn't be changing it. I wouldn't change anything when it comes to the lineup. The exact way it is the way I would have rolled it today.
Tyler?
Yeah, no changes for me. That forward group was humming. That D-core, you don't really have any options outside of, I guess, putting in Stetcher for Emerson, but the PK got better towards the end of the series, so you're not doing that. For me, the more interesting angle on the Pickard conversation is, again, you got to go back to the guy who's won you 4 in a row, but what's his leash like would be my question. If they and don't kill me for walking down this
There we
path,
go.
But
Tyler's chasing one of town already.
It's Tyler that's the one that's doing it.
And I know it's all probably the context of how the goals go into, but if they lose 4-3 tonight, if they lose 6-5 tonight, if they lose 3-0 tonight, I'd be very curious where that line is. I hope we don't find out, but it does set up, going back to Pickard today, puts you in a really good spot of if you were to lose game 1, you have the ability to be you know what, game 2, even if you were to go down 0-2, you can come back. So you have no problem going to Skinner in game 2 is my point. Versus the other way around. I don't know. I feel like you're maybe not setting yourself up for success. So not surprised at all. I'd just be very, very curious to put some truth serum into Chris Knobloch and be what's your line here on when you would go back to Stu?
What happens at the first period is 1 goal worse than it was last game.
So it's a 3-goal first period?
Not 2 and 3, but 3 and 4.
No. Oh, it depends. Is it 3-1?
Exactly the same way goals.
Yeah.
And just add one more that was exactly the same way as the first goal.
Then no, I'm not pulling them. But again,
are you your hands on the door?
Yeah,
your goalie Stu's mask is in your hand. You're about to give it to him.
Knobloch's looking down the bench at Skinner. Then when he sees Skinner look at him, he looks away really quick. He's I'm not looking at you.
Stu was did he look at me? I think he looked at me. Was he looking at me? Should I get my helmet? What if I just put my helmet on right now? Is anyone looking now?
I'm curious about the leash is kind of the point of my whole.
That's fair.
Yes, I know. Big leash guy.
Liam, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I was surprised there was a conversation considering the 4 games. And he did play well in game 6 as well, Pickard, to be fair. Maybe not the start you wanted, but also I'm not that upset about the goals he allowed, to be honest. I think the Kings came out and pushed pretty hard to start that game. And he rebounded in the 3rd period. He already made 2-3 really good saves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think I would give him if he lost tonight, I wouldn't go to Skinner tomorrow either, the day after either. I think if you come home down 0-2, knock on wood.
That better be real wood.
That's when I would look to put in Skinner. And I believe in Skinner. People hate it, but I'm a believer.
Pickard gets the same leash that Stu got in the first round.
Yeah, I think you have to respect he won those games. I also think they need to respect that Skinner has shown the ability to come back in the playoffs and win you games as well.
Dan, it's your delicious debate. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess I still am surprised just from the standpoint of this team has been quite predictable under Knobloch in the players that he trusts, the players that he doesn't trust, the ways that he trusts them. And so I just thought it was just kind of written that Skinner would be back and then we would see them adjust from there on in. I'm impressed to see it from Knobloch. And I think that it trends well for this team if they are making more situational decisions like this. So positive for me. I'm with Liam. I still believe in Skinner, and I think that we will see him in this net before this playoff run is over.
Major key alert. That's exactly what I was going to say.
I want to hear from you. If you're listening to this and you have an opinion on this debate, chime in, hit us up on socials.
Not quick enough.
Did Chris Knobloch make the right decision to go with Calvin Pickard? Do you think we're going to see Skinner at some point in the series? Maybe. Only time will tell.
I would love for Stu to come back in this series and win it out for us, only to shut up the haters. That's it.
Well, let's do that debate. Yes or no? Will you see Skinner in the series? BM.
I think at some point, sure.
Tyler.
No, because I got a funky feeling it could be a quick series.
Dan.
Yes, we will see Skinner.
Rick.
I'm actually going no because I'm leaning towards where Tyler's going right now.
Well, since you guys mentioned that, before we move on to the series, I've got our playoff predictions up on the Oilers Nation HQ board. Was feeling very bullish to lead off the list.
He has to. He just threw his love into the city of Vegas anyways.
He did, yes.
What did you say?
So he's got Oilers
Just
in 4.
He chose before our series to start to announce that he is now cheering for the Vegas Raiders.
He even bought himself a cap.
For now.
Yeah, for now. That's the interesting thing. We haven't even started that season yet, so we'll see. Tyler, you are up next on the board. Oilers in 5.
I don't know. Sometimes I drink the Kool-Aid pretty hard, but like I look at this Vegas team and I'm like, man, they are slower than they were when they last played the Edmonton Oilers 2 years ago. The Oilers are much deeper than they were. Aiden Hill, by the numbers, had a below average round 1. Minnesota was a hair. Like we're talking a skate blade away from being up 3-1 in that series instead of it being 3-2. Like, I don't know, man. They almost got exposed by that Minnesota team. And we had Steve Peters on our show today, former video coach for the Arizona Coyotes, works for ESPN now. And he kind of said like, the reason he believes more in the Golden Knights is because he's like, hey, we haven't seen the best out of them yet. There's also never a guarantee that when you're slumping in the playoffs that you find your best. It's very difficult to do in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So I just feel like people are a little bit too high on the Golden Knights based on what they did in the regular season. And man, the Stanley Cup playoffs are a what have you done for me lately kind of thing.
To me, it's no different than Oilers going into LA and every pundit had the Kings going through.
To me, it's a little bit different. I get you where you're coming from right there, but we are rolling 4 offensive lines way better than we were anytime, perhaps in my life. Like we did not have 4 lines playing this. I'm not so sure there's a person in this room who's upset about Connor and Leon playing together right now because the other 3 lines are playing so well. When the other 3 lines are playing that well, that all the naysayers about Connor and Leon playing together are okay with it. This team is doing what it needs to do to win the Stanley Cup. And I don't think Vegas has what it takes to stop them. I think their best players have only gotten a little bit older. And I think, you know what? Our defense is good enough.
Rounding out the predictions.
I took 6. I wanted 5, but my 6 is I meant for the safety serve on second serve in a tennis match instead of like trying to fire it down there. So I'm going to give my little bit of space here, but if it's in 5, I wouldn't be surprised.
So Tyler was the most bullish of the boys on the podcast, 5 games. The rest of us, Dan, Liam, Rick, and myself all have Oilers in 6.
Who was right last round?
I was
all the 6s.
I had 6 last round.
I had 6 as well.
I was a 5.
I just think like you go into Vegas, I think they can win both games, but you go in there for a split, shit can happen. You win it at home. That seems like a really likely outcome for me.
Like we saw Vegas against the Oilers recently. We were there.
3-2. No,
we had a couple beverages, so maybe things were a little blurry. Didn't get to see all the ice because where we were standing, but that team was pretty much Vegas.
You have a nice time.
But wasn't us.
We had no Connor.
We had no Connor. I don't think Wallman was in there.
Wallman scored that game.
Or did he? Well, who else were we missing? Because Ekholm was out.
Leon, I think, left after
Kane was
that game.
out.
Yeah, no.
Frederick was out.
Kane, Frederick, McDavid.
I would guess. Let me just look it up.
Hyman and Draisaitl played.
But I think Hyman, or not.
Leon
I
did.
think
Leon comes out like a
played
game
that
later.
and then he left. Whether the next game or the game after that.
Because they went up 2-0 in that series and then ended up evening out the series of losses to Anaheim and LA, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is we were playing for something. They were playing for something, and we beat them with a maybe not decimated, but it was not our full lineup. They had essentially their full lineup in there. I like our opportunities.
Let's talk about the series. Got to tell you about the community box for Oodle Noodle. It is the Kung Pao. 10% of proceeds from the Kung Pao in Edmonton will be donated to Sports Central, helping them on their mission to get more kids playing sports. So if you're looking for something to eat, head on down to any of the Oodle Noodle locations, grab yourself a Kung Pao, and know that 10% of the proceeds of that will be donated over to Sports Central. I'm a big Kung Pao guy. I will be doing that before I head down to Greta tonight. Get a little something to eat, put a base layer down. Let's talk about the series. Game one is obviously coming up tonight. I want to quote something really quickly about game ones from our boy Cam Lewis. He wrote the game notes at Oilersnation.com. The Oilers didn't win any game ones they've played between 2020 and 2023, going a shocking 0-7 in series opening games over those 4 seasons. Jason Gregor added in the game day preview, they are 3-10 in opening games of playoff series in the McDavid era. 2 years ago, Edmonton dropped game 1 to Vegas. Despite a 4-goal performance from Leon Draisaitl, they ended up winning that one or losing that one 6-4. The question for you fellas, how do we avoid the game 1 jitters in round 2?
I think they just got to play structured. I would say against the Kings in the first 2 games. A bit too loose in some departments and just allowed the Kings to have open lanes to the net and made life very easy on them. Like, you got to play a bit more disciplined in that department, I would say, is just know where you're supposed to be and be responsible for yourself.
Start playing aggressively. Start playing in the other team's zone. When we play with the puck in the other team's zone, they can't have it in our end. When we don't have it in our end, we're at our best. Play with the puck in their end, cycle it on them, get your penalties, pop a couple 5-on-5s and be fine.
I just think that I don't know if they can bucket right now. I think that this team just likes to get punched in the mouth a little bit by the other squad and see what the best that they have is. I think that we saw it against LA. You've seen it in the past with this team. They just like to get pushed around and kind of get fed some of that fire that they then use later on in the series. I don't think it matters too much to this team to lose game 1.
Tyler?
Yeah, they always seem to want to kind of feel their way through the first game or so, or at least the first couple of periods of a series and be like, okay, what are we dealing with here? Almost like they want to come out with more of like a methodical entrance into a series versus like a come and punch the other team in the mouth. And I just look at the depth up front and I look at the age of this Golden Knights, maybe they got a lot of miles on them, I think is kind of my point here. And specifically that blue line, which didn't look good against the Minnesota Wild. So I'd love to see the Oilers come out with more of that punch them in the mouth mentality. Zach Hyman, 10 to 12 hits. Vasily Podkolzin, 5 to 8 hits. Like, go out there, run them through the end boards and like have those Golden Knights defensemen thinking right from the jump, like, fuck, this is going to be a long series.
I think a big part of it is going to go to the next quote. I'm going to read you from Kevin Woodley. Gregor had him on his show over at 1440 and he did a little scouting on Adin Hill. On open looks, the Oilers need to go after his glove. When I did charting, high glove during the regular season was 24 goals and high blocker was 15 goals. The first round of the playoffs saw 4 goals high glove, and that was predominant area to score on him. When the shooters move a goalie east-west, they know the goalie slides or moves laterally. They tend to lower their gloves, so shoot there. Save percentage on high glove was only .768. And his expected goal differential was significantly below expected in round 1. So open looks and lateral plays, that's where you go. Shoot, glove.
You know what that tells me? Huh. I know it's a couple segments up, but Leon to lead the series in goals. Who likes to shoot for the glove? Who likes to be on his off wing on the right-hand side shooting to the glove? What would it be? Adin Hill's glove anyways. Leon Draisaitl loves that.
A little something.
Connor likes to give him the puck. Corey Perry likes to go to the net.
They're playing on the same line.
Mentioned lines. Courtesy of Bob Stauffer. These are from practice the other day. Draisaitl, McDavid, Perry is your first line. Kane, Nuge, Hyman is your second line. That trio, they really looked good towards the end of the LA series. Frederick, Henrik Brown. Then you got Podkolzin and Janmark Arvidsson. As the fourth line, your extras are Skinner, Jones, Derek Ryan, and Kapanen. Your D pairings are Nurse, Bouchard, Wallman, Klingberg, Kulak, Emberson, and your extras are Deneen and Stetcher, and Pickard gets the start. Thoughts on the line combos? Just a little consistency.
Keep it rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't broke, don't fix it.
That is kind of the mission, isn't it? Like 13 goals from different players in round 1. Like, just keep the ball going.
I know everyone, everyone wants to see Jeff Skinner come back in. I don't think he will probably make a difference at some point in this playoffs, but I wouldn't worry about it at all. It doesn't. The lineup is irrelevant to who's in as long as you're winning games.
To me, the intangibles of what he does versus a guy like Evander Kane, he's got a long road to go to get back in the lineup.
If he was coming in, he was going out for Podkolzin in my mind. Out of today's roster, those are the two. But I'm not swapping him anymore. Jeff Skinner's not meant to be a fourth line left winger. You're not going to get him in the top 3.
Puck Olsen was also playing physical against the Kings. That's something that Jeff Skinner wouldn't do.
I also thought he made some good offensive plays too.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
He had 4 assists.
Dude,
Yeah.
that fourth line, you can't tell me that Vegas's fourth line can outplay our fourth line.
The fourth line has a 20 goal scorer.
Who's does?
What's his name? Brett Howden.
What's his name? On the back of his jersey, what's his name?
Howden? Howden?
They do. Their
There was
fourth
a
line
question mark in the middle of that name.
their fourth line is interesting, but I still think the Oilers' depth is better. Like their second line right now, like they have been running kind of like jumbled up lines. I think from what I read, like their second line right now is Hurdle, Kolasar, and Saad because Dorofeyev's out, which is massive. But like that second line that feels more like a fourth line, but it's just centered by Thomas Hurdle, so it's weird.
Quinton Howden is his brother. Played at the World
So your
Juniors.
first line currently courtesy of Daily Faceoff. You got William Karlsson, Jack Eichel, Mark Stone. That's the first line. Brendan Saad, Thomas Hurdle, and Keegan Kolasar as the second line. Barbashev, Nicholas Roy, Riley Smith, Tanner Pearson, Brett Howden, and Victor Olofsson is the fourth line. How do you think that stacks up depth for depth? Tate.
I give the Oilers the edge there. That second line for the Oilers, Nuge, Kane, and Hyman, according to moneypuck.com, no line in the first round amongst the ones that qualified had a higher expected goals for percentage than Kane, Nuge, Hyman. That includes the Oilers' top line with McDavid and Draisaitl on it. They were outstanding in that series against the LA Kings. And to me, I look at this Vegas team and they have a top line that took a while to get warmed up in that first series against Minnesota. And they have a bottom 9 that, again, like Brandon Saad he's not who he once was. Riley Smith is not who he once was. Tanner Pearson is a guy who came in on like a PTO at the end of camp.
These are all guys, their best years are 3 to 4 to 5 years behind them at least.
Yeah. And like, listen, I think you could also look at the Oilers roster and be like, Adam Henrique's best years are behind him.
Corey Perry top line.
Corey
those
Perry's
guys-
been playing great.
I know,
but we're asking for different things out of, say, the Henriques of the world.
Yeah. And again, as much as you can sit there and say are Arvidsson and Henrique and Perry's best years behind them, sure. But I can also look to a first round where those guys were very, very productive. So again, I just think Vegas has some guys who they maybe look better just because of the name value that they have, but like in all actuality, they aren't all that productive.
What about on defense? We got Nick Hague, Alex Pietrangelo as your top pairing, Braden McNabb, Shea Theodore as number 2, Noah Hannafin, Zach Whitecloud as the third pairing.
Noah Hannafin was outscored 7-3 in the first round.
All 3 of their defensive pairs were outscored, I believe. They were all in the red. The third might have been okay, but the first 2 were in the red.
Hague
One
was
thing
the
I
only
noticed is that
defenseman
these
to
guys
be
are definitely a bigger group than LA.
taller.
Taller.
They've got some length. Yep.
Wow. Leash.
They're big. I mean, they struggled to find pairings that worked early on in that series against Minnesota. And the one thing that'll stand out to me, just when you look at the box scores, is Kaprizov and Boldy just had their way with Vegas for a big chunk of that series. And like, if you struggle with Kaprizov and Boldy, you might really struggle with Connor and Leon.
Maybe.
What about what advantages do you see that Vegas has over Edmonton? Let's do both sides of the coin. Let's be a little not so biased for this.
Advantages?
Yep.
Blue line and goaltending.
Their names on their blue line are definitely better.
I mean,
They're rated better. But if you look at last series, again, your numbers might be different, but I saw a tweet and I didn't really dip into it too much. But their first 2 sets of defense got outscored.
That is fact.
They did. Yeah.
And I think we are a much more offensive team than Minnesota.
Yeah. Again, if you're going blue line versus blue line, they have 3 top pairing defensemen and they have the ability to play them on different pairings because their supporting cast is so good. They can basically always have a top pairing defenseman on the ice. And whether that top pairing defenseman's playing good or bad at the moment, whatever, maybe that's to what Steve Peters alluded to. Like they haven't played their best hockey yet as a team, but like if one of Hannafin, Pietrangelo, or Theodore are on the ice at all times, you're feeling pretty good.
Not if you're Leon's wrists.
That is true.
Well,
Factual.
Yeah.
Not a fun fact though.
No, just a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Was Hannafin on the ice when Connor scored against Calgary?
Pardon?
Was Hannafin on the ice when Connor scored against Calgary?
I don't know. Play the clip. I think goaltending is an interesting one in this series for one reason. I don't think Hill's actually played that good. And his save percentage would also suggest that. And I know I'm one that likes to not put too much weight into save percentage, but Calvin Pickard is better in the first round of
So
the
you are a
series.
save percentage guy.
If you want to go
in this argument to make my point.
if you want to go fancy stats, goals saved above expected in the first round, according to moneypuck.com. Calvin Pickard, negative 0.9. So he allowed 0.9 more of a goal than he should have based on the chances they gave up. Aiden Hill, negative 2.
Suck it.
Well, and the reality is for Vegas is that they've got nothing behind Hill either. So it's not like
Who is their backup?
Samsonov.
Ilya Samsonov.
Oh, I thought
Former Leaf.
I
He's
forgot
been around
They
forever.
do have
hasn't done
Akira
anything.
Schmid as well. I don't know which one they're actually playing as their backup.
I think
Got it.
Schmid played a game.
Oh, did he?
He came in as some kind of relief.
I just feel like the Oilers, to me, it's like
Oh,
one of
yeah.
our starters could get tanked. We had that happen in the first round, and the other guy came in and spelled him.
Yeah, I'm not super worried about Akira Schmid coming in for the Golden Knights and doing all that much.
Let's hope he does.
Although he had a great regular season. Oh, he only played 5 games. No.
Get to Hill early, make him make some questions.
Shoot on that glove.
Yeah, we'll get that in keys
And
to
low
victory.
glove. Any
Glove.
glove.
All glove.
I have his thing here too.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's kind of it. Sorry. There was something else I was going to add too. Seems like left pad. I'm assuming if you get to his left side low, that's also a good thing.
I think a big part of it too is like get in his kitchen, make life uncomfortable.
He's a big goalie.
Yeah.
He is big, but not to the extreme of Binnington, but I think we've seen him a few times lose himself a little bit, right?
Yep.
Like he has a bit of an attitude. I think he's a bit cooler than Binnington, don't get me wrong. He's in his own little category there, but maybe someone you can shake up a little bit.
The other thing we got to talk about leading into tonight's game was a video that hit social media that took the world by storm yesterday. And of course, that was the slow motion walk up from Bob Stauffer.
My
Would love to see
lord.
Gary Lawless try to do that.
How many ladies got pregnant watching that?
Come on.
Just that one Katie Dane girl on Twitter. No one else.
It's not Katie Dane. It's
Who
her
is it?
sister.
No, it's her sister.
Oh.
Taco Bella.
Taco Bella. There we go.
Taking the sunglasses off to be squinting is.
I think that's just how he looks.
One heck of a
It doesn't really make sense to me. I'm not a eye doctor. I don't have a lot of information there, but his eyes are almost always like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just loved it. I
I
love
look in the
how
mirror so many. Am I looking like that ever?
I just love how Bob is embracing this, whatever you call this.
thirst.
Keep it up.
Keep it up. I can't wait to make memes out of that video.
And Gene with the haircut.
Ew. What do we think about that though?
I
A
love
fresh
it.
cut like that in
It's
the middle of the playoffs.
It's a playoff beard, not a playoff hair. It's fine.
Seems dangerous. I do like to, if you're going to do any kind of manicuring, it has to be in between rounds. So at least he did that.
And I
After
speak
a
as a guy who
loss.
was in the barber chair a couple hours ago, so
You went to get a haircut?
I did get a haircut.
Let's have a look.
Trim? No. Clean it up around. That's it.
Yeah, you got to
No, trimmy trim.
look
Don't
sharp.
do it yourself.
I can, but
Why?
Hope so.
yeah.
Why? Sometimes you got to treat yourself.
Mhm.
Take a dip
All
in
right,
Lake
I
Rick.
should go get my mustache trimmed.
You want me to do it?
Yeah.
BM will get in there.
I'm pretty good. Clean up them little whiskeys. You want a kiss too? Okay, fine. The other thing I wanted to get your guys' take on was the LA Kings did their exit interviews. By the way, Oilers broke another franchise.
Fare thee well.
I think I'm going to miss Rob Blake. I thought he did a great job. Now, you could argue that he didn't win a single playoff round in 8 years, but I thought that was really good.
They were close a couple times, depending on how you view close, I guess. There was that meme, right, of the Grim Reaper. I talked about this yesterday on O&E, like the Flames door got knocked and then the Canucks door and then the Kings door. As much as it is very fun to sit and point and be like, we ruined the Flames, we ruined the Canucks. It's not like they made those roster decisions because they're like, we're never going to beat the Oilers, right? Like Kachuk and Gaudreau leave and that just the Flames were done. And then you look at Vancouver and that was just like a flash in the pan season. Everyone hated each other. The LA Kings one, like their dismantling is truly 100% because they can't beat the Oilers. It is very sweet.
Yeah, but the Flames one, if the Oilers hadn't beaten them, the Flames would have continued on, and therefore you may have established some kind of
Even if they
link.
lose the next round, Matt
the
still
city.
might want to know. Johnny
no
wasn't.
matter what,
Johnny didn't really
Kentucky's
want to
gone.
be there
And
anymore.
then the Canucks last year, if they went on our Cup final run,
I don't think Miller and Pettersson suddenly stop hating each other.
well,
No.
but maybe they're able to keep it. Maybe they're able to keep the PR under
Or
wraps.
at least
I
keep it
don't-
together for another season.
Yeah, I think that seeps out into this season, anyways. Like,
I think-
I wouldn't have either one on my team.
Also, shout out to the Canucks for letting their Twitter account get hacked yesterday.
Oh yeah, I missed it.
It was pushing some crypto.
If you want to see everything though, you can go to CanucksArmy.com.
Yeah,
They
David
screenshotted a bunch
Quadrelli
of
was
these.
on the beat.
He's like, I don't know why I'm reposting this, but this is what we're doing now.
He's like, all of a sudden, I put in $50,000 and it just disappeared. I don't know what happened. Anyway, shout out to the Canucks. The other thing I wanted to mention from the Kings exit interviews is our old friend, Warren Fogle. He was asked about losing to his former team, the one that he went on a run with a couple of times. And he said, losing to your former team isn't fun. And I wasn't offered a contract by them. So a little more personal in that regard too. I think the frustrating thing is I thought we were actually the better team. And that's the way it goes sometimes. You got to be able to close out those games. And we weren't able to do so.
No problem with them saying that. They also weren't the better team, but the first part of that statement, I get it.
This adds to the summer of Jeff a little bit for me. In the sense of like, as much as like, I'm not that disappointed Fogle wasn't here, but I also feel like there should have been some kind of negotiation or an offer, no? Like,
I was surprised, like,
what was his contract he got?
3.5.
3.5?
And he signed on July the 1st.
What was he previous?
2.75.
Yeah, so he didn't get much of a
quarter of a mil raise.
See, and it's always easy to look back, but he should have probably been a priority over like Jeff Skinner's now on the team.
You were chasing him out of town, even at his current contract, I believe.
You know, why you got to do this?
I'm just saying, like we were fine moving on from the player because we just thought we got everything we could out of him, and a raise. We didn't think a raise. He was going to be able to play up to his raise. So we just had to say, you know what? Yeah, sorry. Like I could offer you a contract right now, but I have too much respect for you than to lowball you like that. You're not going to want it.
I love when you write narratives.
But is $3 million a disrespectful offer?
But they weren't going to offer him $3 million because they were committing that money to Arvidsson and Skinner.
That's what I mean. Like in hindsight, all of this, and again, Rick is right. Apparently I was running him out of town.
Well, I mean, well, you guys didn't
say fuck me for.
But he did not really fill up to his contract last year. And at this point, you guys
he
are
had
like
20 goals.
We're just like, it was in a contract year. Didn't expect him to play as well as he did this year. And we were okay moving on. Like your time here is not, it's finite. It's going to end eventually.
It's fine that he left.
And it sucks that you had to leave because you got some buddies here and you went out and did a lot of good things for another team, which was cool for you and good for them, but we're still ahead of it.
One thing I have learned.
It's all good, man.
Since this whole Oilers experiment has happened this
season. Break up and move on.
Okay.
You can't just move on, Rick. You have to fight for the ones you love.
And love the ones
you
you
have
hate.
Warren Fogle. You give him $3 million, whatever. Or you can give it to Jeff Skinner and Arvidsson, knowing that neither of them can, along with Fogle, can't play in your power play. They can be first line, second unit power play. Then neither of those guys are killing penalties. Fogle's giving you a little bit more, and he's younger. And if you can get 18 to 22 goals out of a younger guy, that's more, it's easier to look at now, but I think moving forward, that's the way the Oilers need to look at things. Yeah. Like, these older guys aren't going to necessarily come in and give you everything you want when you have a guy already who's giving you everything.
They're a little hungrier at 24 and they're a little more saturated at
27, 28.
But the point,
30, 31, you're a little more.
To go back to the way we were feeling and we can look up our predictions.
So I think even Skinner at this point, if you had to choose one but two, the majority were taking Skinner.
Yeah.
We were looking for that goal scorer to help
That's
the top
the thing.
six.
When we signed those guys, we were sitting there going, man, Warren Fogle had a career year, 20 goals. That's probably the best you're getting out of him. We were sitting here not going, oh man, Skinner and Arvidsson can't kill penalties. We were going, man, the Oilers got 30 guys with 30 goal potential, right?
But that's what I mean. Like maybe maybe now that's the way these things need to be looked at a little bit more.
Yeah, you need to look at a well-rounded team.
I learned from my experience.
As we should. That's part of life.
24 goals this season, by the way, Fogle.
Yeah, good for him.
I just think it's a bad look for the organization to have not offered him something.
That's not a bad look at all.
Yeah, I think if you offered him a 1-year contract and you say it's lower than anything that he's going to get on the open market, at least then you've offered him and thought of him in your plans.
It is 0% a bad look.
You made a deal on a contract. Both sides fulfilled the contract. At the end of the contract, nothing says you just sign another contract. We decided to go another way. He found another job right away.
Yeah.
All good. Sports.
On the better team.
The other thing is...
That's what he said.
I know. That's what
the other thing that I want to mention.
What a lot of pundits said too.
I'm trying to find the full quote because the full quote is pretty funny, but I can only find like the money line where Quinton Byfield said he'll be thinking about the end of game 4 all summer.
And I'll be thinking about you all summer too, Quentin.
Brenton Byfield better be tying up his skates and going to play for Team Canada.
Didn't Doughty have a similar quote to that last year?
Wasn't he injured this season a little bit?
I don't know, but you got Sid.
What else
You got
say-
Sid, you got Nate, and you got the Flower going out there. I don't have enough hats to take
I just
off
like
those
that. That's
guys.
like a Hockey Canada paid boys trip for those guys.
Hell yeah,
You know what
man.
I don't think they
love
have
it.
enough room.
Fleury's comment. I got home, the kids were a little crazy. I decided I have to keep playing. Get me the hell out of here.
Yeah,
Yeah, Doughty, it's not a rivalry. They
Doughty
keep
2
kicking our
years
ass.
ago said he'll be thinking about Edmonton all summer.
He said it's not a rivalry. We keep kicking their ass.
Yep,
Byfield showed up.
he did.
I think, to be fair to him, he helped the Oilers in that one game, but he scored a goal in game 6. I think he scored 3 goals in the series or something.
Put his hand on the puck in the crease.
Cheated, yeah.
Yep.
But got away with it.
Everything he could do, he was, I think he was probably their best forward.
Kempe was.
Kempe,
think
just since
throughout.
you mentioned him, he said he wants to extend in LA for the rest of his career. Paraphrasing.
Why? Early summers.
Early summers is nice. Yeah,
You're on
go
the
hang
beach
out
all
on the
the
beach.
time.
Nice tan. Hair looks good.
Yeah.
You know?
You can go on the accidental beach here in Edmonton if you want, Adrian, and we'll give you a
Good.
contract.
Sure.
I think the Kings might miss the playoffs next year.
Yeah, why not?
I think there's fewer points on the board.
So we
in
beat
the
Calgary and then
Pacific.
they missed the playoffs. Beat Vancouver, then they miss the playoffs. Beat LA, now they miss the playoffs?
Maybe.
Well, there's also the angle too.
hot
Like
damn.
their best players are not getting any younger.
And also a new GM is going to come in. And is a new
Make a
GM going to sit
stamp.
there and be like, I have to win this year? Or no, he's going to sit there and be like, whoa, this is the one time I can take it slow. I can build a bit more methodically and start to set myself up. Because
But I got to make my moves. I got to put my stamp on this team right now.
yeah, like I even
And that might mean moving a Doughty or Kempe or somebody you think that down the line is going to be outaged by the time.
Because you said last year or last week, Tyler, Quentin Byfield's your guy you would kind of build around.
Yeah, and I mean, you probably do want to build around Adrian Kempe, but like, you know, Kopitar's got 1 more year left. He's 37. Doughty's got 2 more years left. He's 35. So I don't know, man. Like, I think they have some decisions to make. Like a guy like Gavrikov, do you want to give him a 6x7 deal?
Is he a UFA? What do they got
he's
for?
I think they
UFA.
should give him a 6x7. You know what?
Bump that
Don't
up.
chance it. Make it a 6x8.
9x8.
Ask the NHLPA if you can give him an extra year. Because we love this guy so much.
Why
We
not?
like it so
Somebody's got
much.
to do it.
But yeah, I just think this summer could be more of like a methodical thing for the LA Kings where they don't go and do the big crazy splash move to be like, we got to beat the Oilers next year. I think they might take a step back and reevaluate.
Who do you think takes their place in the Pacific Division playoff picture? Because it's probably not Calgary.
Could be Calgary.
Why couldn't it be Calgary? If Dustin Wolf is what he showed us this year,
I think they dip again.
but if Dustin Wolf is truly this good and this wasn't a flash in the pan, you'll never be bad. You'll always be in the mix. You can't be bad with a goalie that good.
It's like a song or something. I'm
trying
trying
to
to
see.
bars here.
I was just trying to see who else you liked in the Pacific because it's not Vancouver.
Anaheim.
Anaheim will eventually start. Again,
San
like,
Jose too will get better.
Yeah.
Maybe not next year, but they'll get better.
but like more points off the board next year, right?
Yep.
Like that gap is going to start getting a lot closer. So
The other thing I want to mention, NHL Draft Lottery. You don't have to pay attention to it anymore. I haven't for a long time now. New York Islanders, big winners of the Draft Lottery. They're the first overall pick. Who is the top pick, Liam?
Matthew Schaefer or Michael Misa.
How
Have
good
either
they
one
be?
of them decommitted to the draft yet?
Decommitted.
Yeah,
Knowing
they're
that the
gonna go
Islanders get number 1?
back. Yeah,
Oh,
don't want to
All of a sudden, CHL.
you wouldn't want to live in New York?
I don't believe that's living in New York. Long Island, as far as I understand, and I have zero understanding of it, it's like trash
Geography
island.
lessons with
Yeah, the
Rick.
trash island. You don't want to be. You want to play for the Rangers. You don't
but
want to
like-
play for the Islanders.
But it's so close. I
you
think
don't get to
just-
play at MSG.
Yeah.
You got to play at the other joint.
But John Tavares was so well loved in that.
He got out of there so quick. Well,
not
not,
that
so quick.
So we got your top 3 is the New York Islanders, San Jose Sharks number 2, Chicago Blackhawks number 3, then Utah, Nashville, Philly, Boston, Seattle, Buffalo, Anaheim round out your top 10.
How good were those videos of Utah GM Bill Armstrong moving up from 14 to 4 and they had the live cam on him the whole time? That was sweet.
Yeah, that was. Have we ever seen two spots move up that was insane.
Significant.
Both
jumps.
teams had like a 3% chance of doing what they did. Like the odds
And
of
neither
both-
team could be like a conspiracy theory, like, haha, they got number 1 this way.
Are
can't-
you sure?
You're not going to think of that with the Islanders, are you, though?
They just
the Utahians?
Did you hear about the mayor out there?
No.
Released
Where?
a statement saying how disappointed she was in the NHL because the league apparently might take away their All-Star game next year and replace it with an Olympic kickoff event. And the mayor released a statement being like, we are very disappointed, blah, 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 revenue, this, that. So did the NHL, to make up for taking away the All-Star game, give them the first overall pick?
Absolutely
Yes.
not. Did she not pay attention to what happened this year?
To who?
The All-Star game that got bumped for international. So we would rather have an All-Star game. Please don't bring us that exciting stuff you guys had this year.
But it's not going to be like the Four Nations face-off. They're just going to do an Olympic kickoff event. I don't even know what the fuck that means. I don't know.
Fair enough. You know what?
That's the conspiracy, and I'm choosing to believe it.
Matthew Schaefer, though, is my first overall pick. I think
Are they good?
he's a good player.
Did you scout him?
Did I scout him? Yes.
You didn't get him though. Yikes.
He's been injured since the World Juniors, and I think people have forgot how good he is because he's just not been playing.
He's been out half a year.
Yeah, he lunged himself at the post in the World Juniors.
Yeah, and he
yeah.
hasn't played since.
Our guy went to punch a guy in the face and punched the glass, broke his hand. He was still fine for the draft.
and that
What's
glass
this guy?
has never recovered.
Yeah, no, it's still in pieces. What's this guy made out
Family's
of?
in
What, paper
shambles.
mache?
He also plays for Erie.
Interesting. Tying it all together. Just to round out the draft lottery, with
Erie's
the
not very
remaining
good at it,
teams.
are they?
No.
Pittsburgh's got 11, New York Rangers got 12, Detroit Red Wings 13, Columbus 14, Vancouver 15, and Montreal has 16, which came via Calgary.
And they also have 17.
Oh, a couple of picks from Montreal. Montreal's going to be really good in a couple of years.
Will they trade up?
They will have to build around it properly. We already said this about Ottawa like 3 or 4 years ago. We said about the Oilers like 20, maybe 12 years ago. We've had the youth. We've had the offensive youth. You need to build around it properly. If you don't, you're fucked. If you do, you can create something amazing.
The only other thing I want to mention before we get to the betting talk for our friends at Bet365 is just game one that last night. Round 2 kicked off in almost the most leafy way possible.
Starting to think Sam Bennett might be dirty.
Dude, is he not a UFA this year?
Yeah,
Yeah, get him up here right now.
I agree.
Totally.
Right now. I'll drive down. Give me the keys to the Nation truck. I'll drive down there right now to get him.
Nation truck just got fixed up. Shout out for the Giant. It'd make it wherever you want to go.
There we go.
I don't think the Oilers will be able to afford him. I also think he's a little bit overrated. Just a little.
But man, he's
That's
so
fine, but-
annoying.
I take him, plop him in Henrique's spot.
Do you guys think that was a suspension?
No.
I'm not surprised it's not, but I wish it was. I wish the league would suspend that.
Do you think that was the hit that rattled his brain enough to go vomit 10 minutes later?
Or was it the shot that he took to the melon shortly before that?
I think it was probably both, if we're being honest. But like,
Because the Bennett thing was
it should have, if it was
11
called
minutes.
a penalty, then this isn't even a conversation.
2-minute goalie interference. I'm
Yep.
fine with.
But like, Ekblad got suspended for something that wasn't quite the same, but like,
That was way worse.
No, but like, but that's pretty much what Bennett did, man.
No, because his arm's out and actually comes in. He
you
hits
need-
with his hand, with the
Oh,
backside of
now
his
you're-
hand.
no, you're-
It is. Watch the video.
I have many times.
Because his arm is out like this, and
I
it comes
just
in, but
think
he hits with it like
anytime there's
definitely
forearm to
contact.
player's head should probably just be like you know what, you sit for that one.
Is this not what fighting is in the sport of hockey for, though?
Supposed to be.
For the stuff
Still
that
0, right?
can't be caught. Yeah, still 0 in the NHL playoffs this year. Like, this is the stuff that's supposed to be caught by the players, not necessarily by the referees.
Everybody's watching the video now. Rick's doing play-by-play.
It's his forearm.
I just
Not till right there does it hit his head.
It still hits his head, Rick.
His glove, is it not?
It is a glove.
Thank you.
I still think
I didn't hit you
it was a headshot.
with my car. I hit you with my side mirror. Well, you hit my car after, but like at first, initial contact was my side mirror.
Well, as long as you're not saying it was at the front of the truck, it's fine. It hit the mirror, 100%.
Happens.
I
I don't think it's that right there.
Ice in the lead needs to protect the players better.
Yes.
The players or the
Revenues?
goaltenders?
All of them. Like we saw it the other week when Corey Perry got hit by Radko Gudas and it was like nothing.
Mhm.
Like there's just like any hit to the head I think needs to be reviewed by the league. And even if this is a fine, it's better than nothing.
I think they did review it.
I think
And did they reviewed it enough to
too.
say there's no supplemental, no?
Yep.
I just think with a guy, the history of Sam Benny who always plays on the edge. Like last year, there was a Brad Marchand one, the Matthew Nyes as well. As a lot of guys are getting injured from him hitting them in the head and there's nothing that comes from it. I think at some point the league needs to be like, hey, we can't just allow this to keep going.
Fair. Like he's halfway out of the like his head's out of the crease too. Not that I'm saying that you're allowed to hit him.
Okay,
but I'm just
If
saying.
Mark Stone does this to Calvin Pickard,
I'm just saying you can't say like he was in the crease. He went through the crease on this one.
His whole body is in the crease.
Who's?
Stolarz, like his eyeball.
oh my God, Rick.
No, I'm just saying Bennett's not going into the crease.
Do you think there should have been a penalty?
I'll give him 2-minute goalie interference. Yes.
Do you think Mikey Anderson should have been given a penalty?
100%, 1,000%.
But Calvin Pickard wasn't in the crease. All his body was in the
That's
crease.
part of the reason why I didn't make that big of a noise about it, because I knew people were going to start screaming that.
But you can't just allow that to be the standard of like, wow,
We don't have a standard though.
That
The
is true.
standard is if this.
The standard is we'll call it as it is every single time.
if-
Top buckle of his helmet's out of the blue
Yeah.
band.
if this
Kill
puck
him.
goes in the net and the least review it, that is goalie interference.
Yes, totally. 1,000% goal interference.
Past this.
Most
So
likely, yeah.
Yeah.
Stolarz is probably going to be out, I would think.
There's no way you're vomiting
Well,
yesterday and
He
good to
was
play
at team
tomorrow.
breakfast.
Like,
he was at
I-
team breakfast this morning.
I've
Of course, he was hungry.
Protocol.
Dude had nothing in his tummy anymore.
I've gotten concussions before and puked shortly after, and doctors don't like that.
No.
Personal
I was
experience.
like, when did this happen though? Because go back far enough, nobody really gave a shit.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
Just
probably
shake
got a
it off.
couple of,
Stop.
Sleep it off.
couple of
You'll be fine.
undiagnosed ones there in the
Yeah,
90s.
there's a couple Tylenols. There's a flat ginger ale. You'll
You
be
good
fine.
for your next shift?
Yeah.
All right.
How many fingers? I don't know.
But how big of an impact do you think it is swapping Wall for
Huge.
Stolarz?
You saw it in the.
minuscule.
You serious?
Joseph Wall had a great regular season. And
Did you see what happened in the game?
Yeah, he came in cold.
There was
Hadn't
definitely
played in
some
18 days, I think.
They chose to bring him in cold for one.
Well, I mean, the goalie puked.
That in that situation, the goalie is allowed a warm up. They chose not to give him a warm up because they had the power play.
No. You're only allowed to warm up if it's the concussion spotter who pulls him. And the concussion spotter somehow didn't pull him.
The concussion spotter is the one who pulled him after he's puking.
No. That was the team medical staff who said, off the ice, buddy.
So what is the concussion spotter doing?
I don't
Or
know.
he was getting
He
popcorn.
was getting beers.
There you go. One time he's getting popcorn. The other time he's getting beers.
It's been 2 months since I've had to take someone out. I'm thirsty.
That's a quick beer's fun.
Who got hit? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, damn it. I got to bring that BPP down.
Yeah. I just look, Joseph Woll was great for them in the playoffs in the past. He had a really good regular season. There were points in this regular season where it was like, who are the Leafs going to have to start in the playoffs? Like he's got a career 924 in the postseason. He had a 909 this year. Like he's definitely not at the level that Stolarz is, but I actually think he has a higher ceiling than Stolarz.
He may, but they have so much extra baggage going into every single game from now to the end of the year for them.
I think the key for them is just like, don't start
playing
chasing
offense.
around Sam Bennett and don't buy in. Like people are like, they got to play Reeves
No,
next
that was
game.
the stupidest
That's
thing.
exactly
No.
what Florida wants them to do.
Yeah.
Well, and Dan also wants that. Yes.
Please.
Yeah, Dan wants.
Sign
Somebody
Rosie. He's in Toronto.
No one's gonna try and fight Reeves.
Well,
As soon as Reeves gets out, you know what? Don't play Reeves till game 3. I think is what Florida really wants. Get that last change when Reeves is out there. Yeah, no problem. Then
Liam, what do you think? Stolarz for Wool.
I think there's a difference.
Yeah, probably a difference, but we just put in Calvin Pickard and won 4 straight games, so who really knows?
I think the difference is just
2
that.
of the 3 Vezina candidates are out of the playoffs already because they were so bad.
I just think you have a young kid who hasn't had a lot of experience or opportunity in these situations into a team that probably has more pressure on it than any other team in the league just because of who they are and 67 and all that extra bullshit. Then he comes into this with they have a 3-1 lead and then a 4-1 lead.
Yep.
And then almost cough that up. Like he's going to be overthinking it. Everyone else in there overthinks everything they do in this at this point. It's not a fun place to play. If he does well here, that's a great thing for his career going forward.
The Leafs also got very lucky yesterday that Bobrovsky stunk.
Yeah.
He was awful. He allowed 4 goals on the first 9 shots. Like, bro, where was that in game 1? Unbelievable. All
There
right.
were some of those goals Bob gave up to him. Like, man, if an Oilers goalie gave that up. That
Yeah,
first one was awful.
Yeah. The same thing with Hellebuck in game 7, the second goal. Awful.
Terrible. It's almost like goalies give up bad goals sometimes.
Let's talk some betting.
Leaky.
Let's talk some betting. Bet segment is presented by our friends at Bet365. Want to get in on the action for the Stanley Cup Finals? At Bet365, they've got you. Game props, player props, totals, money line. You can even bet on futures like series winner, conference champions, and the Stanley Cup champions, and much, much more. Whatever you bet, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. The official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Must be 19 years old or older. Please play responsibly. I know the boys are looking for some value here on their bets, so I'm going to run through the mains here for game one. The Oilers, as I was prepping this, I don't know if the line is still the same. The money line, the Oilers are dogs at plus 120 for game one. Vegas is favored at minus 140 on the money line. The Oilers to cover the spread is minus 225. That means to win, or I guess
Lose by
to
no
not
more than
lose by 2.
Mm-hmm.
The over-under is set at 6.5. Over that is minus 120. Under it is plus 100. So even money on the under. Tyler, you had some series bets for us. How's it looking for the series?
So I got a couple I like. Evan Bouchard over 5.5 points in the series, minus 120. It's a simple over-under. He is statistically in his career more than a point per game player in the playoffs. So if you think this series is going 5 games, this is a smart bet. So I think that line is set a little bit low. I looked at Leon Draisaitl to lead the series in goals at plus 300. Talked about him and Aiden Hill, but you could juice it up. You could go Leon Draisaitl 5+ goals in the series. So over 4.5 plus 500.
That's better.
I think that's a little bit better there. And again, it gives you coverage if someone on Vegas were to somehow score 5 goals and Leon only gets 5. So I kind of like Leon to score 5 goals. I like Bouchard over 5.5 points. And just outside of this series, Mikko Rantanen's over under for total goals in the Winnipeg Dallas series is 2.5. If a guy proves he can do that in 10 minutes, I feel good betting on him to do it for a whole series.
As a total aside, how great must Mikko Rantanen have felt after game 7?
I don't care.
Okay.
Well, sorry, Rick.
Do you see what he did to Tyler and I?
Oh, he killed us.
Explain it.
What happened?
So Rick and I, if you remember from this podcast, we parlayed Connor McDavid and Nathan MacKinnon to both lead their series in points.
Oh, no.
Listen.
Nathan MacKinnon was up on Rantanen by 3 points with 10 minutes to go in that series and scored an empty netter with 2 seconds left to cook the bet.
4 points in 12 minutes to kill us.
To kill our bet. It was 47 into 260.
Wow.
You know what I would have done with that money?
Bet it again.
Put it on McDavid.
The other thing that's interesting about the futures, if you've been playing along with us all season long, we look at Stanley Cup odds a lot on this podcast. Currently, the Oilers are plus 450 to win outright now that they're into the second round. Dallas leads at plus 400. Panthers are third at plus 500. Then the Hurricanes at plus 500. Leafs at plus 500. Golden Knights at plus 750.
Wow.
Jets and Capitals at 1100.
I got one more.
Go ahead, Tyler.
We're probably due for an Evander Kane hat trick. It's been a minute. Over a year. Well, over a year. They have him. You can bet Evander Kane to score a hat trick in any game this series. 35-1. Makes you think.
Man, and he's had some good looks too.
He's had some great looks.
He's getting better.
Maybe a little empty netter.
That shot is coming around. Anything else, boys? We were talking a little bets.
I got a few.
Go ahead.
By a few, I mean 2. So I have a couple. Evander Kane to get a point tonight is plus 150.
Wow.
Zach Hyman to get a power play point. I don't know if he's actually done this at all in the playoffs so far.
I don't think he's been had a lot of playoff time or a lot of power play times
But
already.
I wonder if they'll change that up this series. Or a bit of curveball at things. What do you think that line is at? Does anyone know?
I'm just looking at it. It's
Plus
juicy.
170.
This 170? Damn.
What are we guessing? Sorry.
Zach Hyman power play point.
Yeah.
Oh.
He has 0. He has 1 this playoff.
It's
so far,
juicy.
by the way.
Plus 225.
25.
Juicy. That sounds like a 320.
320. How about double that and a little bit more?
650.
770? 650 for a Zach Hyman power play point.
No, it's not.
Yes,
It is.
it
I
is.
just hit it.
Bag Milk's eyes were glowing when he
Zach
said
Hyman-
you mouthed 650.
Zach Hyman power play point is plus 650.
Even Evan Bouchard plus 280 for a power play point.
Draisaitl plus 145. So McDavid, Nuge 320. Corey Perry plus 525.
What's
But
Leon
again,
for?
that's
What's
another
Leon for a
reasonable
goal?
bet.
Power play goal.
You can't do power play goals. Sorry to ruin the vibe on you there, Rick.
Yeah, no kidding.
Plus 115 for a goal, though.
Yeah, it's
Plus 115 for a goal, plus 155 for Connor anytime. Zach Hyman plus 220, Corey Perry plus 260, Nuge and Kane both plus 300. Evan Bouchard plus 425 to score.
For a goal?
For an anytime goal. Evan Bouchard.
Evan Bouchard, who had 4 in the first round.
How often does he shoot high glove on a goaltender who catches with his left hand?
Let me tell you.
Please.
Plus 425, eh?
Who catches with his left? I can't go that specific.
Why? Is it the computers? They can do anything.
And the wind is approximately.
It'll
going-
rate you a damn book report, but I can't tell you how many times.
We're trying to make some money here, people.
Oh, kidding.
Give me a second. Evan Bouchard.
That Bob Stauffer video while he does that has over 500,000 views on Twitter.
How could it not? You want to talk about Riz? Talk about Bob.
Can anyone upload that to Pornhub?
I think it'd get banned too sexy.
Too hot.
What are you finding over there, Liam? Oh, he's
Keep it
distracted
local.
by Bob.
Okay. So Evan
company.
Bouchard had 19 goals this season.
Hmm?
High glove on a left-handed goalie. I'm assuming all of these goalies are left-handed.
Not all of them.
6 of them went high glove. Does that seem right?
One, he
about
played
almost
82
a third.
games. So maybe like 1 in every 15, 16 games.
So against the LA Kings specifically in the first round.
I'm sad I couldn't get my photo fast enough for that.
Why is the camera never on?
He did not score.
Oh, we got it. We got it.
4 goals in the first round for Evan Bouchard.
Mm-hmm.
1 went
High glove.
high glove.
There's a high blocker up there.
1 went high blocker.
Uh-huh.
1 went in right here. The other one was down here.
Which is great for radio.
Yep.
One went low glove, one went over the pad on the right hand side.
So you could say his
low glove was
vary.
Low glove was along the
All
ice
right.
here. It looks
So our conclusion is we have no conclusion.
No, he's hit all 4
Conclusion
parts of
is
this
he
net
did it
here.
once. But to continue on,
Maybe not.
he had, this is funny. So Bouchard had 24 shots on goal in the first series.
Good chunk of them are on the glove side.
4 of them went right into the pad, into the chest. I would say 5 is,
Keep you honest, you know?
5 is like
Don't feel the
5
puck.
hole that was covered. He was a 50% shooter in the glove.
All right. So Evan Bouchard's already looking glove.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah,
send that segment from Woodley over to the boys. Just make sure they
Or
know.
this one from
Send him
us.
this to Woodley.
Ooh.
This segment?
Yeah.
All right.
And then send it to Woodley.
And then he can send it to
And then he can send it to them.
All right. There's your betting segment for our friends at Bet365. Whatever your bets number ordinary at Bet365. Download the app, get in on the game. Official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's wrap up the podcast, gentlemen. Game 1 tonight. Keys to victory for our friends at Greta. We are going down to Greta tonight for a viewing party. The squad's going to be there. We're going to have a good laugh. We're going to enjoy ourselves. We're going to give away some prizes and we're going to watch a big victory. Join us at Greta tonight. Key to victory. I'm starting with Liam Horban.
Depth scoring for the Oily boys. Pavel Dorofeyev will not play tonight for the Vegas Golden Knights. He has 35 goals on the season.
Not strong enough to play?
Yep, 2 weeks.
Scared.
Mentally and physically.
Key to victory. Rick, what do you got?
Outside of my own personal superstitions,
Which are?
They
Go
gotta-
ahead.
I'll put the jersey on, but then I have to swap t-shirts first.
Which arm do you put in first?
Wait, after you put on the jersey, you change t-shirts?
No, I change t-shirts, then put the jersey.
that'd
So
be
on
cool.
game 4, I was given the new playoff t-shirt.
Oil up.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I told the bartender he can wear his, but he already put his down in a little bit of a spill. So it was a little mess. So I went and swapped mine, then put my jersey on. We won, we win. Did it every single time. So I'll do that again tonight. Get my 5 chicken fingers in. And then
What about the 6th?
5.
You just leave it on the plate?
No, I asked
the
for
5
no.
Stanley Cups, you
I go
always
to the
won.
kitchen and go, I would like 5, please. And then for the team itself, take care of your own end. The offense will do itself.
Dan, key to victory. How many tendies you get?
I think for the first
5.
the
And you're
first
right,
2
one
periods
each
are going
cup.
to be really important in this game. I think just playing more in Vegas's end to start this game will do them well. So I think win those first 2 periods and they'll be fine.
Tyler, what do you got?
Calvin Pickard hold down the fort. Just play a nice, steady, average game for us. And I think the Oilers can win if Calvin Pickard's average.
I think I would like for my key to victory to start defensively first. And what I mean by that is there was a lot of odd man rushes early in games in that series against the Kings. The Vegas Golden Knights are really good off the rush. Take care of your own end.
That's what I said.
I feel like that's got to be the most important part. And I also like Dan's too. Quick start.
When we take care of our own end, we're a much better team.
And the other thing too is we saw them do it effectively with Darcy Kemper. Shoot and get to the net. Cause chaos, make his life difficult. Aiden Hill, that is.
And if he's laying on the ice, feel free to gently Sit on his back.
Yeah, like if you happen to be Corey Perry and someone just breathes your way, accidentally fall on his face. Anything else stick out? Key to victory for our score predictions?
Have some fun.
Everybody
That
just go and make
seems-
some friendships.
Seems like a joke, but it's serious, Rick.
Fun is never a joke.
No.
Nope.
You know what's fun?
Time to go to
Winning
work.
is fun.
Agreed. But you think back after game 2, there was an LA Kings fan who was chirping McDavid. McDavid laughed in his face. And then McDavid was a bit looser on the ice those next 4 games.
Have some fun.
You did hear
Do a
what
little
Friedman
kiss.
said, though, right?
Elliot?
Yes.
No, I didn't.
He said in one of his last pods there, a lot of the guys on Team Canada were very impressed with the way that Sidney Crosby handled the positivity on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
And they believe that some players took it from there to their own teams. And I think when you see a guy smile on the ice more often than we've probably seen before, as in Connor, that might be part of it.
So you think he's
Feel a little
Sidney
looser, a
Crosby?
little light.
Yeah. So
Light on your
he's
skates.
not his normal robotic Connor kill himself.
Yeah.
He's a little more of this AI learning what it's like to feel as people and smiling.
The humans enjoy positivity, yes?
All right.
Writes it in his journal. Yeah, he's like,
Sid said smile. Okay. Smile.
Gives
Now he's
off a-
sitting at home working
Noted.
on that.
He's just
Lauren,
like
how's this? That's not a smile.
like-
How's that? That's also not a smile.
It's like
what are
those
you
vid-
doing? Stop that.
It's like those videos on social where you get a dog to smile and it's just kind of like showing its weird teeth. And you're like, perfect. Nailed it. All right. Score predictions. Tyler, you're up first. Game 1, Oilers, Vegas. By the way, 7:30 start. Come on.
love it.
We're getting there.
Nice, easy 4-2 win.
All right. Dan, you're up.
5-3 Vegas win.
5-2 Edmonton.
Dan.
Sorry.
Everyone knows Edmonton win game 1. 5-3 Edmonton.
I'm going to go 6-3 Edmonton, 2 empty netters.
Whoa.
Enjoy game 1, everybody.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.